Good afternoon. It is October the 1st, Saturday at 2:34 in the afternoon. Hope everybody's been having a good life. I've been trying to make a video. I've been trying to do it now for I've had a few opportunities or a few tries, and it just hasn't turned out right. I've tried to be as loving as possible as I can with my videos, and sometimes I might get a little frustrated. Maybe I don't want to sound like I'm being negative or complaining. It's frustrating sometimes when you know where your mind is at and somebody else puts you in a different category, or puts you in a category other than what you really are, based on really an assumption. And it's always been kind of an issue. A lot of people have this issue nowadays, or even in general. If you're taking the word from somebody else without doing any type of research or finding out for yourself, but you take this other person's word for it, you're assuming, you're not 100% certain. And we shouldn't, it's not very intellectual to base opinion on somebody on an assumption. That's a lack of intelligence. If somebody is talking bad about somebody and you don't know that person personally, and you believe them, you go along with what they're saying about that person, even though you absolutely have no clue about them whatsoever. I've been making these videos for a long time, and I first started making these videos pretty much to get my word or get my message out, things that I've been experiencing, and maybe somebody that could relate to this, because what I'm experiencing I've never heard of. Well, I've probably heard of maybe from a movie or a TV show, and I know I say this a lot about the TV show and movie thing, but it's real, it's legit. I have not met anybody. I'm part of some social media groups, some spiritual gifted groups, and I put out, I might mention one of my experiences, and it's crickets. Nobody's commenting or saying anything. And I can only go by what I see and I feel. I definitely don't go by what other people tell me, because most of the time there's somebody telling them something, and you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of people just don't really know the 100% truth or facts about things. So I typically go by what I see and I feel. It just is what it is. But somebody told me that I should make videos, or I should write this down. Somebody even mentioned to me that I should start a podcast. And so I started recording myself talking, and just started speaking to whatever was on the top of my head, never really doing any type of research or editing or scripting or reading off of something before I made the videos. It's just whatever was at the top of my head. Just like now, this is just off the top of my head. I haven't researched what I'm talking about. It's just coming to me. But a lot of the gifts that I have, when I first started this spiritual journey, and not religious, it's not a religious thing whatsoever. I'm not into a religion. It's just God and I. Spirituality is God and I, and not man. It's my own personal walk with God and what God tells me. And I've been in this game for almost 4 years. I've had several religious people. I wouldn't say I had several religious people, but there are some religious people that would consider what I'm into as far as demonic or of the devil or evil. And that's not true at all. You can clearly watch these videos and tell that I'm not evil or of the devil. And I hate that I have to explain myself or not that I care about what people think about me, because I don't care. If there are other people that are involved in my life that could affect them, then of course I want to kind of clear that up, because I don't want anybody getting a bad name because of me. So when I first started this spiritual journey, I knew, because I was raised religious, I knew that according to religion, what I could be getting into could be evil. Anything could be evil. You can make anything out of evil. Demons are in the church. Jesus himself casted a demon from the synagogues. It mentions this in the Bible. So demons get into the church. Of course, they want the church to be destroyed. They don't want anybody close to God. So the devil will send in a demon into a church to try to curse the church, to cause that church to no longer be blessed. And this happens all the time. You will not even realize that you've got a demon attached to you, not even realizing it. You have to pay attention to your thoughts. But I knew going into it, according to religion, that I could be into some type of evil, something evil. And I had that mindset. I had that thought. And I started to meditate. And we need to be careful when we're getting into meditation in our subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind is very powerful. And don't look, if what I'm saying don't make any sense to you, or it's just crazy, if I am saying words, let's say for instance like the subconscious mind, look it up. The subconscious mind is a very powerful mind. That's where miracles happens. That's where faith and belief happens, where blessings happen, where healings happen, is from the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind. Conscious mind, subconscious mind, two different things. The conscious mind is our control mind from man. Media, the news, movies, songs. You think about it. These young kids these days are very impressionable, and they listen to a certain music. Let's say, for instance, I don't want to stereotype and I don't want to classify one certain group. But for instance, let's say you're listening to hip-hop. Gangster rap is what they call it. Then all of a sudden you're having these kids out there with their pants sagging, and they're representing a gang, or they're trying to present themselves as being part of a gang. Then that's you're being programmed. You're being, you're trying to fit an image of something that you're not. Or for instance, you're listening to country music, and before you know it, you're wearing cowboy boots, cowboy hat, the whatever other attire that's involved with that, and you're starting to represent that image now. You're starting to fall into that image. That's you being programmed. You're listening to it. You want to fall into that. You want to represent that. So you dress like that. That is our conscious mind. Our subconscious mind is controlled by God. That's, like I said, that's where miracles happen. So when I go into meditation and I connect to my subconscious mind, you have to go into that mind peaceful and loving. You have to. If you go into it negative, you can manifest things. Remember, like I said, the subconscious mind is where miracles happen, where faith begins, where blessings happen from the subconscious mind, the God mind. If you're going into that with negative, for instance, if you feel that what you're doing is evil, and you go into that mindset with that evil thought, you will conjure up evil. You have to be careful. I went into that with that mindset, and I stopped myself because I saw it, and I stopped. I knew without anybody telling me, nobody told me that I needed to be careful with that. I just knew it because God told me that. So I changed my mindset up. I went into that with prayer. I was connecting to Jesus, the man. I was connecting to God, the Father, before getting into that mindset. And I would read my Bible. I was praying. Once I did that, I started to connect to God. I started connecting to Jesus. And I started to develop some gifts. And very familiar gifts that Jesus himself carried. Because Jesus was a man of flesh and blood that walked the earth. And he had some gifts. He was able to heal. He was able to remove evil spirits. And I've done this. I've actually removed evil spirits several times from people and property without even being at the location. Just with this. Just manifesting it with my brain. Connecting to God through this. And that is a gift that Jesus carried. Never once have I ever called myself the Messiah. I've even mentioned several times in my videos that I would never put myself in the shoes of Jesus, the man. Never. Even John the Baptist said these were not shoes that I could fill. I would never be able to even lace his shoes up. This is what John the Baptist said. I've never put myself, I've said it multiple times, I do not want to compare myself to Jesus whatsoever. Jesus died on the cross. He died for our sins. He paid the ultimate sacrifice. I would never be able to compete with that or compare to that, ever. And I would never even try. All I can go by is what I see and what I feel. That's all I can go by. I'm sorry if anybody got the wrong impression of me or thought negatively of me. I'm sorry if I've ever pushed any negative toward anybody. That's the last thing I want to do. I just want to be loving and kind. That's it. That's all I want. 11:11. I love you guys. And please leave a comment if you want. And Godspeed.